Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be explaining to you what looks to have been the original concept for the setting of Grand Theft Auto 5, which might have included multiple cities. So we all know that GTA San Andreas is really the only Grand Theft Auto game to utilize many big cities. That has San Fierro, Las Venturas, and Los Santos, which was really impressive for the time, considering GTA San Andreas came out in kind of like the PS2 era. So the fact that Rockstar was able to get three cities into that game is pretty incredible. And if you ever played a GTA San Andreas, you know that going from each city is really cool because each one kind of offers their own unique environment and twist. And even nowadays, I think that would be extremely cool if Rockstar would have been able to pull something like that off in a modern day Grand Theft Auto. Well, it turns out that that might have been the original plan for Grand Theft Auto 5, to have multiple cities in the game. So according to GTA Forums user WildBrick142, I'll leave a link to the article I'm using in the description, as well as his thread if you want to check out anything he does. He typically finds really cool stuff in game, so I would recommend you give him a follow as well. He was digging through the Grand Theft Auto 5 coding and noticed a number of stats that Rockstar actually have hidden from us in game. So I'm not sure why Rockstar have these stats hidden, but for whatever reason they do, and I'll put some of them on the screen right now. You can see some of them are time spent on the stock market. You can see like single player vehicles driven, cutscenes watched, cutscenes skipped. However, the most important one lies up at the top, and it says stat name cities passed. And the comments for that is number of cities unlocked. Okay, so that comment right there is extremely interesting and has got a ton of people talking on websites like Reddit and the GTA forums, and has interested me enough to want to make this video and hear from you guys as well in the comment section down below. So this is the individual line of coding we're looking at right here. There's a couple other things like type, save category, online equals false, profiles equals false, owners, coder. But what's most importantly here is cities passed, and then the comment for that, or the description, which is likely number of cities unlocked. Now, there's a couple possibilities for what this line of coding could be. The first possibility, it is cut content. We obviously know in Grand Theft Auto 5 and GTA Online right now that there's only one major city, and that is Los Santos. Now, there is another setting, which is North Yankton, but we don't really travel there outside of 2 missions, so I wouldn't really consider that another city that we're able to utilize and explore in game. So we obviously know that there isn't multiple cities, that there's only one. So what could this possibly be? If it's not cut content, is there a possibility that this could be reused and that sometime down the line there will be a future city expansion where there's multiple cities in Grand Theft Auto 5? Now, something else I thought of is this might be left over from GTA 4. As you guys know from that game, you unlock the map in kind of pieces. So maybe they considered parts of the map cities and not necessarily new locations. And that might have been the original concept for GTA 5, where you unlocked different parts of the map, at different times. So Blaine County would be unlocked a little bit later. Maybe, Grapeseed would be unlocked even after that, etc., etc. That's kind of an example, but that might have been what Rockstar was going for. Now, I know what you guys are saying right now. Does Rockstar ever reuse content that has been found in the game like this? Well, absolutely they do. There's been so many examples recently. I'll read off a few of them right now. The Tampa was reused, the Cognoscetti 55, the Faction, the Dukes, all the monster trucks. In the case of manufacturers in game, Progen and Willard, both of those are reused and content that was originally found in the files that we were able to get a little bit later on in the game, including in DLCs and whatnot. So yeah, there is a huge possibility that something like this absolutely could be reused in game. Now, what's also very interesting is this information is coming out, or was found, just a couple weeks after we got that crazy DLC leak. You know, the one I talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago that stated the last 2 Grand Theft Auto Online updates were going to be paid DLC expansions into other cities. One of them would include Liberty City in North Yankton, and the other one would include Las Venturas and San Fierro. So I don't know if that's just an odd coincidence, or if those have any connection to each other whatsoever, or if the coding in the file relates anything to what that user was stating about those city expansions. I have absolutely no idea, but it is interesting the timing of those two things. Now, FunMW2 has chimed in, and he has left his opinion opinion on the matter. So this is something he said on the GTA forums. He said, "You mean a new island added to the current map? Question mark. There's no difference between that and adding a whole new map, as the players with the new island will have to be separated from players who don't have it. Otherwise, you'll see players floating around." So what FunMW2 is talking about here is Rockstar having to separate the community if this is something that were to go into Grand Theft Auto Online. And he's absolutely right about that. If there was going to be a paid DLC, this is where Rockstar would have to separate the community. And he's right, because if you didn't, you would just see some players randomly floating around in the sky or floating around on an invisible island. And Rockstar probably wouldn't want that to happen. They would want to make it as if either no one saw it or you were the only one who saw it because you had the content. However, I do think there are some solutions to this if this ever was incorporated into Grand Theft Auto Online that would make this process pretty seamless. So I definitely think that they'd have to incorporate some sort of loading screen where you would have to go to this other island, but maybe this could be done pretty seamlessly. So there's many things in Los Santos that we could use in order to kind of bridge the gap, no pun intended, between a new island or a new city. One of those would be the airport. So in the gameplay right now, I'm using the mission Bury the Hatchet. And I use this for a reason because it's one of the few times in game where your character uses the airport to actually travel somewhere. The only other time we see that is when your character comes in Grand Theft Auto Online. So that's kind of the reason behind that. So the airport could actually have a use because right now it doesn't. Or this could be the perfect opportunity to use yachts. So maybe you have a yacht, you could go to your yacht captain and then select a location that would be outside of Grand Theft Auto 5's current setting, Los Santos. And very similarly to how the yacht moves right now, how it doesn't necessarily have a cutscene, but it has like an animation, maybe it could be something like that with a cutscene or loading screen animation or whatever the case might be. So that would be another great feature for the yachts and would improve their value as well, because without a yacht, you wouldn't be able to go to these new cities. So that's one way to get it done. However, if Rockstar didn't want to have to deal with anything like that in game, they could always implement it in a similar way to the way they did it with episodes from Liberty City. So if you never played Grand Theft Auto 4, there was 2 single-player DLCs for that. And essentially, if you were playing that single-player DLC, you could only connect with people in the online mode that were playing the DLC as well. So if someone had a copy of Grand Theft Auto 4 and they had both DLCs, then you'd be able to play with them in online. However, if they only had one DLC, they would connect with players that had that one DLC, and if they had no DLCs and just had Grand Theft Auto 4's base game, then they would only connect with people who had GTA 4's base game. Now, that separated people a little bit. However, when Grand Theft Auto 4 was in its prime, and there was, I guess, hundreds of thousands of people playing every day, this wasn't really an issue. And with the population of Grand Theft Auto Online right now, I don't really see this being an issue as well. I think you would have plenty of players that would either purchase the content or not purchase the content, and whether you were in a lobby that had the new map or had the new island, you'd still be able to connect to a multitude of players, making it seem as if no changes had occurred. So another reason why I think this could work pretty well is because I don't think the separation process would be as difficult as many people think. I mean, already in Grand Theft Auto Online, we're separated by the aiming system we choose, so there could be servers with both maps and maybe servers with only one map. So I think that could be super easy for Rockstar, like I said, to implement that into the game because we already do that with the aiming system that we have. And as I mentioned earlier, maybe the simplest thing would just be to put people in lobbies if they bought the map together. So if you have the map, you'll be put with other people that have the map, and vice versa. If you don't have the map, you'll be put with people who do not as well. That seems as if that would be the simplest strategy in order to maybe implement something like this into Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, before we just get totally hyped here, FunMW2 has some more information for us that kind of might make us pump the brakes a little bit on if we actually want this. So he goes on to state, so players would be separated, it will cause problems. The devs will have to spend more time creating exclusive content for the players who bought the new DLC. Why would I spend my money to travel to a new island if it has the same content I can get in a current map? This means less new content for players who don't have the new island, not to mention the creator mode and the jobs. They have to have exclusives as well, new contact missions, new races, etc. Let's not forget the free mode events and the VIP CEO stuff and the yachts as well. They have to exist in this new island. It's just too much work, and it will be the reason why we will get less new content as if they are creating the new island. The situation situation would be like heists. So basically what he's saying is, in theory, this island sounds amazing or a map expansion sounds great, but at the end of the day, if it's just a new place with not any new content, players will get bored very easily. And he makes a good point that developers would have to, create new content for that new place, and that would take away from the content that we would normally get in Los Santos. So it would definitely be a give or take, and I think this would be an interesting concept, and that's why I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. What are your opinions if a map DLC were to kind of actually be in the work and be in the fruition for Grand Theft Auto 5 or Grand Theft Auto Online? Now, if it is just single player, that's a totally different beast and a totally different conversation, because clearly that doesn't impact, the online experience. However, if it is online, everything that FunMW2 just brought up comes into effect. Now, a lot of people ask me, if a map expansion were to occur, once again, what cities are most likely to happen? Now, I've stated in the past that geologically, Los Santos and San Fierro and Las Venturas is one that makes the most sense, because they are so close to each other in real life. So it'd be pretty easy to make a map that made the most sense. However, those haven't been updated in the HD universe, Las Venturas and San Fierro. The only city that has is Liberty City. And Los Angeles and New York City couldn't be farther away if they wanted to in real life. They're like the two farthest points away in the United States away from each other. So they're pretty far away, and those would be my two likely scenarios: Liberty City, Los Santos, and then Los Santos and the trio that we saw in San Andreas. But anyways, that's really all the information I have to talk to you guys about today. Very interesting stuff that's been found within the files of Grand Theft Auto 5, and it looks as if the possible original concept for GTA 5 likely involved multiple cities. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys there. If you did go on to enjoy the video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. I've got a really awesome live stream coming up in a few hours, so you definitely want to stick around for that. It's going to be super cool. But of course, guys, without the way, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.